You might remember the image we're about to show you, and it came to symbolize U.S. President Barack Obama's 2008 campaign.
Now, it was designed by street artist Shepard Fairey. Well, now he is back with a series of new artworks for the inauguration of Donald Trump, but they're quite different.
Yeah, instead of the president-elect, they feature a diverse cast of people, including a Muslim-American woman and a Latina, also an African-American child. Street artist Shepard Fairey joining us now via Skype from Los Angeles for more on the We the People images. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We'd love to hear more about your new art campaign, because this one is actually in protest of Trump, right? And the divisive rhetoric that we've been hearing over the past, couple years during his campaign. What's the meaning behind this new art campaign of yours?
Well, it's really about making sure that people remember that we the people means everyone. It means all the people. And I think that the campaigns were very, very divisive, more from one side than the other, but just reminding people to find their common humanity and look beyond maybe one narrow definition of what it means to be American, and recognize that the melting pot means everyone. We the people means everyone.
Yeah, and to that point, you were quoted as saying Trump is not a healer. Art, on the other hand, is healing and inclusive. Expand on that.
Well, I think that art, when it finds something that's both unique and universal, it really really reminds people that we are able to have our differences, our idiosyncrasies, but that we all have connections as human beings. I think it makes us feel a connection to something greater than ourselves, and also art is incredible therapy. When people make things, they feel good. When they experience art, they usually feel good. Of course, there is provocative art too. I've made plenty of that, but this campaign really is about encouraging people to find the better part of themselves and others in the world.
We're showing those three portraits that we talked about, featuring an African-American child there, a Latina woman, and a Muslim woman. Just talk us through the art, why you chose to feature these particular groups of people. And there's also phrases that go with these pictures, right?
Yeah, those were the three groups. I worked with my friend Aaron Huey, who has the Amplifier Foundation, and who I've worked on some Native American rights projects with. But Muslim Americans, Latinos, and African Americans, we thought were the three groups that maybe had been criticized by Trump, and maybe were going to be most if not necessarily vulnerable in a literal sense, most feeling that their needs would be neglected in a Trump administration. So a reminder that everybody matters, that everybody counts. Those were the first three groups, but of course we're hoping to expand the campaign to cover all LGBT rights, Asian Americans, any women's issues. These posters will be disseminated at various women's marches, DC and Los Angeles, Seattle, New York. So yeah, we're looking to branch out from here, but this was some of the most important groups to start off with.
Yeah, that iconic Hope poster that sort of kicked it all off for you. I was reading that I think it began with a print run of just 350. Did you have any clue what you were getting into here?
No, I did it as a bit of grassroots activism. It wasn't done coordinated with the Obama campaign. Luckily, they liked it, and they said run with it. But it was actually an independent grassroots effort, and eventually my collaborators and I printed 300,000 posters, 500,000 stickers, many T-shirts, and there was a free download of the image on my website, as well as plenty of other sites, so people could make their own material. And I had no idea it was going to catch on the way it did, but I was very happy, because it demonstrated that you can participate meaningfully in the political dialogue without just being an oligarch or a corporation or someone from the political establishment. So I think it invited more people to empower themselves in the political process beyond just voting.
Yeah, on that note, you're hoping your street art and the message behind it will have a large presence on Inauguration Day, right? Can you explain that, and also your Kickstarter campaign?
Well, the Kickstarter was designed to raise funds to initially print posters as well as run ads in the Washington Post. And now, because the Kickstarter's done so well, we're also running ads in the New York Times and USA Today, assuming that none of them are rejected at the last minute. But you know, the idea is to just make sure that these images get in front of as many people as possible. But the Amplifier Foundation is also about funding education programs and additional art programs around the idea of multiculturalism, inclusion, you know, and just basic human rights.
Well, we wish you all the luck. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, Shepard Fairey. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.